one of the issues of having my webcam be my iPhone all the time. So a bit of an issue, especially when I'm trying to answer calls and stuff. But that's all good. It's all good. There we go. Perfect. All right. So, hey, man, I hope you guys had a good weekend. Just popping in here. As opposed to philosophizing with the old, it's too early for this. Let's get into this bad boy and do a little bit of morning sketching. Let me set this up, and I'll kind of talk you through what I got going on. Ooh, craziness. So my son's using this as well. He's over with his buddies. They're mucking about with it. And so I have to readjust every time I talk to son. Small price to pay to let him kind of muck about with the Oculus set. Oh, okay, cool. So let's check our safe space. Yeah, it's all good. All right, so I'm going to pop over into Quill. And take a look at that. Okay, so once the screen pops up, I'll shift it over so that we can see it. Ah, there we go. It's automatically popping up. That's good. I don't know if it's going to go full screen or not. So let's see if it does its thing. All right. So yeah, I hope you guys had a good weekend. Thanks for joining me for my morning coffee. I noticed in the sort of the YouTube upload that there were dropped frames. There isn't on Twitch, which was a bit strange. So if you want a sort of a good experience viewing this, then I recommend you check out the Twitch stream. Doesn't look like you can go full screen. It's just like line it up and match it up. That's all right. Okay, so where were we? We were doing this whole unboxing. Let's just dive in and take a look at what we got going on. I got the menu set way over. Yeah, you know what? I'll reorient myself this way. So I'm going to pop in here and let's go into our file, open or import, right? So I couldn't find my file last time, and I realized that in my doodles folder under the VR scene, I was saving under everything inside this Quill Sesh 1 folder. So each project or Quill project that you save out needs to go to the root folder, right? So it looks like there's some JavaScript and that kind of thing that sort of separates them. I wonder if my original battle scene is in there as well. You know what? I'm going to take a quick look. It'd be neat if that was still there. Let's see. I hope it is, actually. Let's take a look. Where are you now? Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. But that's cool. I just want to see if that was still there. I believe we are this one. But one thing that bugs me about the Oculus, actually, is that every now and then the lenses fog up. I wonder if there's a way of... I might Google that, see if there's a way of sorting that out. It's really super annoying. Or maybe I'll just have to stare at a monitor for a little while, let my eyes dry out a little bit first, so that they're not producing so much moisture. All right. Well, what do we got? There it is. This is our guy. Ah, cool. Okay, so there were a few things that I wanted to do with this particular kind of illustration. First of all, I think I might make this my Angels and Demons project, right? So I'm going to switch over to my selection tool. Let's see if we can grab this. Oh, I'm grabbing the leg. So let's try and... Whoa, still grabbing it. Okay. No, it's still grabbing the leg. Oh, that's cool. Good enough. Just want to sit this guy a little bit further back. And then we can use some of that ground terrain type stuff to kind of give ourselves a little bit more sort of volume, I guess. I'm going to grab this. Because I had an idea of how I wanted to change this composition a little bit. Right? So we're going to stick that down there. Oop. And so you got to switch from the selection move tool to the draw tool if you want to rotate the camera around. Right? So let's find a decent angle for this rock outcropping, perhaps a little bit like that. I'm going to switch back to my draw tool so I can move this camera around. And there are a few bits and pieces there. I'm not too worried about that at the moment. I'm going to switch back to my move tool so I can grab this guy. It's kind of hard to get your orientation with the ground plane, isn't it? So it'd be nice if we could get some sort of working grids or something like that where we can just sort of figure this out a little bit. Okay, that's cool. Just wanted to give myself a little bit of room on that cliff's edge because I'm going to put a kid there, right? Yeah, let's come in here and sort of finish off this mountain crop as a little warm up, right? So something like this, which is really cool. And this might be, I'm just giving myself some guidelines. That might be sort of like a worn edge out from the rock there, right? Let's go to our tools palette and grab the eraser tool and let's get rid of a few things. The eraser tool wasn't working for me the other day, so I'm going to see if it's working today. It's working today. So that tells me that there is probably some intense calculations with the eraser tool. So as a result, I think it's a little bit glitchy, but that's okay. That's all right. I just want to get rid of some. Oh, I get it now. I get it. So it won't let you erase things that are not selected. So I'm going to come in here. Let's see if my theory works. I'm going to select on that. Switch tools. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's kind of cool, actually. I like that as a safety feature. You cannot erase anything unless it's selected. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and we'll grab this guy. We'll grab these guys, I think. We'll go back to our eraser tool. Let's see if we can kill some of this off. Just, just neatening it up a little bit, but also using it as sort of a de facto warm-up. And just kind of killing those lines. That's cool. Okay, and I want to grab these guys here, and we'll erase these guys out. Let's do it with this line as well. Yeah, I dig that. I think that's really cool. So I'm going to pop back over and choose my paintbrush. And we'll start thinking about how we want to do our scene here. So for me, the particular story that I have in mind features little kid. So let's get in there and see if we can't. So the control drawing in 3D space is really difficult to do. Man, determined to get good at this though. Determined. Okay, so I'm just trying to think in terms of 3D construction lines. It's really, really weird. So I'm going to switch back over to my eraser. I'm going to select that line. And let's get rid of that. Now it's gone a little bit wonky, so I'm going to select the whole head. There we go. Let's see if we can just rotate you there. Ooh, this is cool, right? So something like that. I don't like how thick I went with that line work, but that's okay. I brought the tool size down a little bit. And just trying to figure out the thickness of this kid's neck. I'm going to try and keep my arms in. I think that gives me a little bit more stability. It's sort of a photographer's kind of technique. Yeah, let's draw the loop for the kid's shirt. I'm just trying to think about the pose for my kid at the minute. What would be a good pose? Definitely not that one. So I'm just kind of thinking, okay, in terms of, so this guy might, something like that. Okay. Oh, it's kind of cool because I'm really getting into, because I can rotate around this guy in 3D space. I'm really kind of getting into to what his emotional state might be, right? Because he's just like, whoa, dude. Something like that. Oop. Again, it's really hard to kind of get into the idea that you're drawing in 3D space. So that would be the thumb, something like that. It's very similar to the big dude's pose in the background, so I don't know if I like that, right? That's okay. Let's rough him in. I just want to get, because even if we do a development on another layer, at least I'll get a little bit of a sense of his scale and proportion and all that kind of stuff. So I think his leg might be something like that. Oh, it's hard because again, I'm just trying to get warmed up here. Okay, so we need to make a few sort of changes. Right, so his head's way too big, right? But that's all right. Just want to see. Yeah, the pose is way too similar, for one thing. It'd be nice if I could grab him and let's put him right on the edge. Okay. And let's do something about the pose mirroring. You know what? I think I'm going to switch over to the selection tool, right? Just grab those and move it down a little bit. He's like, oh, dude, is that my destiny? I think maybe. something like that. Now, I don't know if is there a scaling function? Let's see if we can find a scale function. So I'm going to open up my tool palette, nudge, optimizing, transforms, camera transforms, show gimbal controls. Okay, so, there we go. So does that mean I can grab, where's my uniform scaling? I grab in the center? No. Grab that. That's moving. Let's see if I can grab this scale. I'm just testing in case it's not translating but scaling, but perhaps the origin is somewhere else. Put this guy here. That's rotating, right? So how do we scale this guy? It's pretty interesting. I think it's scaling, but it's finding an interesting sort of center. Okay, so that's moving our gizmo back and forth. Can we come? Let's grab this guy again. Can we come in here? I'm not entirely sure this is scaling, so let's go back. So we got free transform constraints, auto select transform object. What is that? None. Restricts camera locomotion, free transform constraints, transform object camera. I don't think I want that. Let's flip back to tools, right? And grab this. Oh, and we want our brush tool. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's affected the head all that much, right? Which is all right. It's all right. Oh, we've got the stupid transform constraints on now. So how do we get out of this? How do we deactivate the transforms? So what if we deselect all, right? There we go. Go back to this. Can we now use this normally? Oh, I've got show the gizmo turned on. But I wanted free transform. So let's go back. Free transform constraints. Let's see what happens when we do that. No, we're still constrained to an axis. Restrict camera locomotion. It's really strange that it's on those constraints. Let's see if we can work with it. Right. So I'm going to pop back over here. Oh, we've got our free transform again. It might be because I got to grab the center of it. That's right. Okay. That's cool. So I'm going to erase that dark line because it's really throwing me for a loop here. So I'm going to pop back over to my erase. Right, let's bring that down. Let's get rid of this. Super, it was the first line I laid down, and it's not exactly the one that I want. Okay, and we'll pop back to the drawing tool. Actually, let's move this guy just a little bit. Boom. And let's see. Make a kid's head. Boom. this is really, really flipping hard. Okay. All right. So something like that. I want to bring his arms a little bit forward. So I'm going to grab this. So this will be interesting to see how. So that's grabbing the tool. I want to grab this. And grab that arm a little bit. And I'm looking at the top to see my curves and arcs. So I'm going to grab you now. Maybe not so intense with that particular pose. Actually, this arm would be a little bit back, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's again, very similar in context to the dude's pose in the background, so I don't really want that. Same with this. Let's grab this, bring it down a little bit. Something like that. I might rework the pose because the kid's supposed to be, somewhat frightened. Not getting frightened off this at the moment. Okay, so there I had to click off to cancel my selection because I couldn't seem to grab the kid. But I want to try and raise him up a bit. And then we'll flip back over to our drawing tool so I can lay down some feet. Big old sneakered feet. Right? And then I might send the foot off into this direction here. Whoa, so hard to draw, man. Okay, and quit complaining, Al. There we go. Something like that. I might click off to deselect, click on these guys, and then maybe try to rotate that foot around a little bit. Click off and grab this little chunk here. Maybe make them a bit sort of pigeon-toed. Okay. So we've got that. Now I'm going to start to put in a little bit of volume. So I'm going to deselect. So let's see if we can sketch in a bit of volume on our guy. So this is going to be like a drapey t-shirt. Okay. So we need a little bit of shoulder mass here. And I'm squaring off the shoulders. I'm consciously trying to avoid giving this kid musculature just because he's not that kind of character. Right? Well, it's more than that. I have a tendency when I'm trying to problem solve a really difficult drawing to think in terms of geometrics, Riley's method, anatomy, et cetera. And I may inadvertently give this kid biceps, and I don't want to do that. Right? That's why I'm a bit wary of what I'm doing here. There we go. A little bit more volume. I think. There we go. Something like that. No, that didn't work. Neither did that one, right? Because we want to I can't help but, when working on this, can't help but recall advice from a colleague of mine, a concept artist named Aaron Kambitz, who was like, when you're learning a new tool set or brush set, remember, you got multiple undos, right? So yeah, very much so. Multiple undos. Keep that in mind. Right? The volume of this arm doesn't feel quite right, but we'll see how that goes. So gene material, right? So I want to come down this way, and it's going to be a little bit more. That didn't come out right. So yeah, there we go. We want to add a little bit of thickness to this. Strong, confident lines. Whoa, it's so difficult. Again, I feel like I'm redoing art school, man. I swear to God. Okay, so let's find a good angle. There we are. He's a little bit twisted over. We'll sort that out. One sec. Just going to come down here, add a little bit of volume to this side. Down the front is all right, I think. Flattens out a bit that way. Now, I talk a lot about your dominant stroke, and it's it's hard to figure out what your dominant stroke is when you're working in 3D this way. So it's kind of interesting. All right, let me sort out what I was talking about here. I don't like. Well, actually, it might be easier to move the legs, I think. So let's come in here, grab that a little bit more, so I can grab the toe pieces as well. That good? Yeah. So I'm gonna grab this. I want to try and give him a strong line. Uh, Looks like he's about to take a dive off the cliff's edge there. Maybe he is. Something like that. And I'm just checking to make sure the kid proportions are right. Let's move that up that way. Let's see if we can grab the upper torso area. I kind of don't like the gizmo anymore. So it might be nice to figure out if there's something I can do with that. That's cool. That's not too bad. I'm okay with that. I might come in here, click off, grab that. Oh, just want that, right? Let's see if we can angle that out a bit. That's cool. I really sort of dig. Yeah, I dig that. That's really cool. Okay. So there's my kid character. I'm just checking proportionally height-wise. Yeah, it's about right for like a 10-year-old kid or so. Something like that. Okay. So our guy here. So I'll explain to you guys the premise of what I'm working on here, right? So uh, my character here is actually a kid who's been granted not just one guardian angel, but like 4 of them, 5 of them, something like that. So let's go and fix her up a little bit, right? And so he's leading his squad of guardian angels into the depths of hell and fighting these demons, right? Oh, yeah, I'm going to fix up. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take this opportunity to see how the layering works, right? So that's going to be cool to sort of check out. Man, that is so cool. Oh, I'm going to freaking love this. Right? All right. So I did want to come in here and check the layering. Then we'll go and we'll sort out our angel who's in the air. So what is this guy going to do? Right? So usually when you throw your arm back, anything you're wearing kind of goes like that a little bit, I think. Right? Right? So that's going to be one of his wings there. And his other wing is going to come here. Something like that. Right? Sort of come up and around. No, that would sort of get in his way. I'm just trying to think about how the physics would flow this angel's wings. Something like that. It's kind of cool. I think the angel's wings will probably pose a little bit more of a challenge than I originally thought when I came up with this concept. But it's all good. It's cool. Yeah. All right. So let's take a look at the layering, right? So now my understanding is it's in here with the timeline. So we've got, let's see what we got here. So we got the layers. We can group those layers. That's cool. New paint layer, new image layer. Oh, so I can bring in 3D models, images. That's cool. Sounds. All right. So that's the initial spawn area. So what if we come up here? We create a new group. How do we drag that into the group? Oh, I think we have to create the group ahead of time. But let's name it something. Here's what I'm talking about. So if I come in here and we call that a dev sketch, right? I can take my sort of rough and build upon it, right? So I'm going to rename this guy. This guy is my, it's really kind of akin to a thumbnail, right? Kind of. A thumbnail that you can scale up huge and then kind of go back down to, right? So there we go. Now, oh yeah, I wanted to check to see if we can adjust layer opacity on this. Toggle visibility. Now, there must be a way that we can toggle the, or control the, there we go, opacity, right? Oh, that is totally what I want, what I need. Oh yes, that's perfect, right? So we got a rough sketch here, and we'll be able to come in and do a further development on this. Oh, I love it. This can be fun. So I want the big guy down here to be surrounded by a bunch of minions. He's like the big demon. But let's I'm getting ahead of myself because this is so super exciting. All right, so let's see if we can get rid of this gizmo. That's one thing I want to take a look at. So let's pop into here. We got our transform tool, right? If I turn off the gizmo control and we go back here and we come out of here, will this then allow me to just go back to the, yeah, it's allowing me to go back to the normal kind of thing. I just wanted to find some nice angles on this. And her head. Let's go down a little bit, click off. Just grab her head a little bit, right? Something like that. And a little bit higher. That is sweet. Then I'm going to grab this, angle it a little bit more like that. Yeah, that's what I want to do. That's cool. I love it. That's great. Oh my God, this just brings it all to freaking life. Oh my God, that's really just that little adjustment, right? And suddenly it's like, holy cow. I'm like a total kid in a candy store, I swear to God. Okay, so, and graying out the opacity sort of gives me license to kind of not worry too much about how loose and how rough it is at the moment. Okay, so I want to kind of further define this area. Whoop. Trying to think about the three-dimensional shape a little bit more. Just bring it in. And the obliques a little bit. Oop. Down the obliques. So I'm going to draw the curvature around the front here. And then let's lay in our boundary for that. Wow, it really, really is a challenge drawing in kind of three-dimensional space like this. Wow. So I'm making a decision on what leg is more forward than the other. Okay, so I'm going to do the top of the leg. Whoa, it's so hard. Quit complaining, Al. Right, so something like that. Oh, I missed. Oh, I should have just, you know what? Just gonna, I'm not thinking fourth dimensionally. This does make life a heck of a lot easier, just being able to grab line work and move it around. Right? There you go. Something like that. Switch back to my brush tool. We'll do the top of this thigh. And again, trying to find that confidence again, guys, where I just like lay down that line. Ooh. Wonder what kind of exercises we can devise to give us back our line control in that regard. You know, something like that. Dot here, and make that connection. Because you have to kind of, now you got to not just negotiate one or two curves, not just negotiate a turn, right? So in typical 2D drawing, you got a straight line, and then you got to try to connect up the dots for a curve, right? But now we got three-dimensional space to think about. Whoa, that is a challenge and a half, I tell you. All right, so I'm going to come in here, see if we can something like that. I'm going to go off to the side a little bit. Do we get it more there? I don't know. Let's see. It looks like one kind of piece, but that's all right. Okay. A little bit more volume. I am going to have to pick her apart, I think, because it seems to have molded together here, but that's all right. We will get to it. Wow, so difficult. Whoa. Let's try a different angle. So I'm just trying to draw the diamond shape, which usually kind of, that's my little shorthand for pointed toes. There you go. Now I'm just extending them a little bit because proportionally they felt a little bit short. That's cool. I love it. Awesome. So I'm going to come in here and let's add a little bit of arms volume. And down the side, perhaps. No, I'm not afraid of negotiating those the arms as just parallel lines. This one feels a little bit short, so I might want to choke that down a little bit. Or it could just be I've drawn it too thick, I think. That might be it. And then let's add the shoulder. Something like that. And let's go add the shoulder here on this one. I know it's like a confused mess at the moment, but again, I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to be doing this in 3D space, as well as, these are going to be sort of construction line-ish type drawings. So in terms of putting in form, I don't know if I'd then take this into Oculus Medium. I noticed that the exporter allows you to kind of cook out FBXs, right? So to further develop this guy, this warrior, I don't know if I would then. I wonder what would happen when you cook this out as an FBX. Do you get a series of do you get a series of splines, or what is it that it cooks out? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what that's all about. I keep forgetting that I can grab these individual lines and angle them. It feels very much like I worked briefly inside of Gravity Sketch. This is what the experience feels like to me. Okay, so let's pop back in and grab our brush. And let's add a little volume to this. And I'm just putting in placeholders for hands a little bit. Something like that. And I think actually she would have, let's get rid of these guys because I don't like them. So I think that's the delete, yeah. So one of the buttons just completely deletes your selection, which is cool. I think think she might have double blades. Total Florentine style. Trying to find a nice kind of angle. Something like that. I don't think they would be, I don't think they'd be like that. That doesn't feel right. That feels a little bit more like that makes sense. So I'm going to come in here and, you know what? This happy accident here might be a nice high collar type thing. So I think I'll leave that actually. Oh, the head's feeling a little bit big from this distance, right? But maybe we can clean that up in the next pass, right? So here are our two guys. We need a big dumb oof in the background. He's going to be our gorilla guy. So that guy's next. But I'm going to leave that for today because I'm happy with it. I blocked in the kid as the main character, right? And this whole scene is looking really like it's coming together. I've been wanting to work on this concept piece for a long time. And this has really kind of fired me up for it, right? That's really cool. She looks awesome up there in the sky as well. Man, I love it. So cool. And I'm also checking my 360-degree composition, right? So I'm looking at the placement of the heads as they arc through. Yeah, you know what? I want to block in my guy. I was thinking about him kind of about here-ish. Big-nosed guy. Kind of goofy thing type character, right? This guy's going to have a little bit of a belly. Oh, I forgot the leader of the group, to be honest. So he's going to be back there. And he's like Mr. Freaking Muscle. I mean, they're all pretty muscular. I want this guy to have like massive shoulders. The forearms are going to be huge. And he'll probably have his hand out like this. Maybe not so close to his body. Maybe about there-ish. I just want to jot this down and see if I like it. And he's going to be something like that. Tree trunks for legs, right? So that's going to be our dude back there. Little tiny wings. Maybe. This guy's wings will be a bit droopy, right? The fourth guy's the clumsy dude. Oh, yeah, and the leader of the group, number 5, will be over here. And he's the old guy. He's the old sort of warrior dude. So he will likely be. And he's also quite a tubby kind of character. He's going to be there. Right? And kind of holding out his hand. something like that, right? Yeah. Anyway, so those are those guys, and we need the clumsy dude. Not a lot of room for our clumsy guy. Oh, I know. Stick him over here. He's like, uh, so those are our characters. I don't know if very stale, but that's okay. Just wanted to block it in. I'm glad that I've got layers to work with, so I'll break these guys apart into their own individual layers. Right. So there's our team confronting. Nah, the demon has to be a lot bigger, doesn't he? Needs to be a lot bigger than that. That's cool. I like that. I'm probably going to shift the characters around and muck about with the composition for a little while. So let's go back to our file menu. Now, here's the thing. I got to pop up, I think, and say into the VR menu, I want to save VR. I think this will work. Let's go. I'm going to jump up to 10. Just what that does is it reminds me that I've made major changes. So let's go back and see if we've saved. So I think it's currently saving. Okay, I'm going to pop back in. We're going to take a look. Yes. So that worked the way I wanted it to. So it was saved into the directory I needed. Now there's got to be like massive demons here, right? Massive guys. Even let's bring this down, right? Maybe another one there. Maybe. Let's see. Nah. I think this guy just needs to be bigger. I wonder, can I scale? Let's see. I'm going to try and experiment, guys. So I'm going to see if I can just select this guy. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we can scale him up a bit. Right. So it's going to be tough, at least until I can get these guys on their own layers. There we go. Right. So this guy needs to be like, ho, ho, ho. Right. Okay, that's pretty cool, but it's ruined the effect because he's now super high up, right? So I'm going to bring him down. This will be a good way of helping me gauge the ground plane, actually. I'll move him over there. Grab you guys. This might actually be where the gizmo comes in handy, right? That's okay. Do that. quite the distance away from our guys, but hey, why not? Oh, yeah. So let's grab the whole thing then. Keep forgetting that I can just bring the whole sketch down in size. That's cool. Our heroes facing off against these guys. Is is he too big? Might be too big. It's like Godzilla big. Okay, so let's select our guy, bring him down a bit. It's too big. And a distance away. I like that. Maybe a bit too far. So let's come in here, grab our guy, move him a bit closer. And we'll angle him down a little bit. That's cool. Oh, I like that. That's really good. Okay. I'm going to angle the creature more over. Click off there. Sec. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I'm faffing about. And then there's going to be Sea of Demons, I think, in here. Okay, so let us save this guy again, and we'll call him 11. That's pretty cool. I'm really kind of happy with that quick sketch we've done today. I know I said I was going to log out, but I was getting into these little changes. Well, it's always interesting to find out which way you end up facing when you come out of your artwork. All right. So that's that. Let's move you over here. So I'm facing back towards it. Did I travel around while I was drawing? It'll be interesting to come back and see this and see how far I've kind of traveled around. So I need to think about the other characters because I really sort of want them to have a little bit more personality, as well as the grouping and the composition of the grouping. I need to really sort of figure out. I've got a nice sort of S curve with the heads, which I like. And then this guy's a bit of an anomaly, but that's all right. That's his personality. She's going to be awesome to work on, I think. And I need a better pose for the creature. But, I'm just sort of doodling, getting to know this a little bit. So, I'm going to leave it at that, and we'll quit out of Oculus for today. That's kind of cool. All right. So I've saved it. It's all good. Everything's all good. Oh, and I've got more people trying to sell me stuff. So I'm just ban those guys. Maybe? I'm all right. Okay, cool. So that was a lot of fun. I didn't do a lot of walking and talking too much, so maybe I'll do that next session with some of the line work and stuff like that. We'll try to devise a couple of exercises again, and you'll see our stuff. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. And